Just Cause is a franchise that spans time based on, from 2006 to 2018. We've had four Just Cause games. Very interesting series and a very intriguing series to say the least. But where is Just Cause 5 at this point? Because if you look at recent times, you look at the span of time it went from Just Cause 3 to Just Cause 4, and now where we are in 2020, haven't really heard much about Just Cause 5. Is this a game that we may see in the foreseeable future? Let's talk about it. So guys, Just Cause, like I said, it spans from 2006 to 2018 at this point. You had the first game come out in 2006, and then you had a number of years later where we had Just Cause 2 come out in 2010. Then 5 years went by from this point, and Just Cause 3 came out in 2015. And then just 3 years after that, you had Just Cause 4. And now we're in 2020, going on that, into that second, going on the third year since Just Cause 4. And now the big question is where's Just Cause 5? And look, I've always said this. I always felt that part of the reason why this franchise kind of didn't really become a massive franchise is because it's only been based around a single player component, not really a game in which you have multiplayer modes and co-op modes and things of that nature. And I always thought that Just Cause could be something much bigger than that if they were to expand it to having more than just, one game mode. But that being said, guys, Just Cause 4, okay, which was released December 4th of 2018, couple of years ago, if we look at the reception for this title, according to review aggregator Metacritic, Just Cause 4 received mixed or average reviews from critics. The game received mixed reviews from critics, while the open world gameplay, controls, graphics, and soundtrack were praised. Its story, mission design, cutscenes, and voice acting were criticized. The game was also heavily criticized by users who noted the game's regression in graphics quality relative to past installments in the series, in particular pointing out the greatly simplified water effects and flat-looking vegetation. This led to Square Enix developing a patch in an attempt to alleviate these complaints with partial success. So, the reception, guys, from Metacritic was based on PC. You had 68 out of 100, PS4 65 out of 100, and Xbox One 70 out of 100. GameSpot gave it a 6 out of 10, IGN a 7.9 out of 10, PC Gamer gave it 73 out of 100. So look, it's pretty average. It was a little bit over average in my opinion. But I think really, guys, what has been holding this franchise back, as I said, is simply that it's a single player experience. It's not there's no multiplayer to be found. Square Enix, I believe, should be for sure making this a multiplayer experience. And I think it also affects the sales of this franchise. The PlayStation 4 version of Just Cause 4 sold 16,100 copies within its first week on sale in Japan, which placed it at number 7 on the all-format video game sales chart. So look, it's not like it's not selling any copies. It's certainly selling, but the thing is, guys, is I don't think it's reaching its full potential simply because of the simple fact that it's a single-player story. Now look, there are franchises that do really well. We're talking Marvel Spider-Man, God of War. There's a number of games out there, guys, that are single-player experiences. That's all they are. They may add DLC along the way to continue bringing players back. But overall, they're just a single-player experience. People pay the $60 amount to play a single-player experience. And then, from there, after you beat it a couple of times, a lot of people just move on to other games. This is one of those franchises that isn't even as strong as, say, like a God of War or, Spider-Man. It's a franchise, guys, that's been around for a while. But the problem is that it's more of a game that you might just rent. From GameFly or from Netflix or something along those lines, and then you decide to go ahead and play it, and then after you're done beating the game, you probably are just going to send it back and move on to your next game. Not a lot of people are going to continue playing a game like this that's a single-player experience, and look, when you don't really have a lot of DLC coming out for the game, which this one had a couple of DLC, I believe there was 3 in total. Square Enix released 3 pieces of downloadable content upon the game's release. Daredevils of Destruction, released on April 30th, 2019, introduced weaponized vehicles and challenge modes. The second DLC, Los Demonos, which sees Rico defending soils against an invading demon force, was released on July 3rd, 2019. And the last DLC, named Danger Rising, which features new missions against the agency and adds a hoverboard, was released on September 5th, 2019. So look, DLC, guys, is only going to take a game so far. I mean, let's be real about it. I mean, all 3 of these DLC came out in 2019, and we haven't seen anything else since then. Now, September 5th, 2019, guys, that wasn't that long ago when you think about it. But at the same time, it's like, look, a game like this deserves to have multiplayer. I mean, when you play Just Cause, you probably could see yourself playing it as a multiplayer experience. I mean, what would be so hard for them to make a multiplayer experience based around this? At least co-op experiences where you're going up against waves of enemies or you're, something of that nature. Look, guys, I just think that sometimes with single-player experiences, it feels like a cash grab to me for many single-player experiences. When you talk about games even like God of War that doesn't have co-op modes, it doesn't have a multiplayer, it's only a single-player mode, to me, it feels like a cash grab where you're charging $60 for not a full package. Even though the single player story may be incredible, why aren't you wanting to bring players back to the franchise over and over again, which is what a multiplayer experience does or a co-op experience does? Because you can only play a single player experience so many times before you want to move on and play another experience at some point. So all I'm saying is that I believe that where is Just Cause 5 at this point, guys? I believe that it very well may be something that Square Enix is planning on. But if you're a massive fan of this franchise, you really should be obviously voicing your frustrations or your praises of Just Cause 4 and other iterations of the franchise and telling Square Enix what it is that you want to see, whether that be through social media or what have you. Maybe even commenting below in our comment section here on YouTube and just kind of voice what it is that you want to see out of this franchise moving forward. Do you want a multiplayer experience? Do you want co-op experiences? Do you just want it to stay a single player experience? Let me know what you guys want in the comment section below. But I would definitely say that this isn't a franchise that has been long forgotten, guys. But it's one that I believe if we don't talk about, there could be problems and there may be Square Enix deciding, hey, let's hold off on making another game. Let's move on to greener pastures. If you don't want to see the franchise die completely, you have to voice those things. And I believe, guys, that a Just Cause 5 with the community support could come out in the next few years. Because we're already back in 2018 is when this game came out. Between Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 4, you had 3 years. So here, we're going on that 3rd year. Obviously, with the DLC coming out in 2019, most likely we're at least a few years away from it, but we got to be the ones voicing our opinion and voicing that we want a continuation of this franchise. But like I said, what do you want to see in Just Cause 5? Let me know in the comment section below. And for more Just Cause 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.